Hey everybody, how you doing? Jim Bull Talks out here in the big woods of Pennsylvania, I guess, right? We're high above Denton Hill State Park, and I'm in the Susquehannock Trail system here in north central Pennsylvania. And I've never been on this section of trail before, and I took a wrong turn. I was trying to get out above Denton Hill State Park. I want to talk about a couple of Bigfoot sightings that happened in the area here over the last, 40 years, to be honest with you. One was 38 years ago, almost to the date. Happened during hunting season here, right off of 872, heading south of Coudersport. They call it Sweden Valley. That 44 shoots down out of there, but Sweden Valley would have been the closest post office that they used to talk about that. And then another sighting, which was right down over the hill from here. I don't know, it's getting dark. I got a late start today, and if I would have took the high trail, I saw on my map that the trail split, and I took the wrong route because I'm new on this section of trail, because I was hoping to get a view down in to where this trucker in 2004 saw something. We call it a Bigfoot, right? We saw something along the road, and it was never identified. But anyhow, it's going on 4 o'clock here. We've got about an hour of daylight. And I only hiked a little over a mile in from the ranger station there at Denton Hill, but you can see already light is fading on us, so I don't want to make you a dark video. I had to get out, you know. It's 2 weeks after the presidential election of 2024, and I've been really deep diving into that and canvassing and campaigning for Mr. Trump and the Republican ticket. And we got a victory, right? Okay, and maybe some of you aren't for that, but give it a chance. I think that the best is yet to come, and let's not tear it down before we even get a chance to build it up. But anyhow, my wife says, get out of here, man. Get out of the house and get in the woods where you love it. So here I am. I had a couple of these stories I've been saving up on, and I don't know them well, but these come from PABigfoot.com. No experiences that I've had personally, okay? And from the Bigfoot, BFRO, Bigfoot Research Organization, which has chapters all over the country. And y'all that follow that know that. So if you don't, just stick around and we'll try and tell you a little more about it. But anyhow, our first story happened about, if you're familiar with the area, I'm running parallel east and west to US Route 6. And New York State's about maybe 10, 12 miles, 15 miles to the north, depending where you're at along that interstate. And so we're up here. The Susquehannock Trail System, I think, has an 85-mile trail loop you can get out and hike. And the scenery is just beautiful. Okay, so come give that a try. We have the Tioga State Forest here. We have the Susquehannock State Forest here. Hammersley Wild areas in the southern end down toward Cross Fork. So yeah, come out and check it out. You can get all that info on the DCNR, Pennsylvania DCNR website. But anyhow, I'm Jim Bull Talks. I live a few miles from here now, and I've been traveling this area my entire life since I was just a young man, and like to get out here and see what we can find, right? So you just don't know. My first story, and I got some notes, I just dropped them. I don't want to leave any trash behind here in the woods. The first story, like I mentioned, happened about 3 miles south of Route 6 off of Interstate 872. And I didn't go down there because I don't know how to access that. I think this hunter 38 years ago, November 28th, 1986, or 87, he's not exactly sure. You know, you get old like us, it's hard to remember. But today is November the 19th, 2024. So about 3:30 in the afternoon, about the same time I'm out here right now. It's going on 4 o'clock here right now. And 6-8 miles as the crow flies southwest of here is where this sighting took place. And guy said he had been hunting the woods of Pennsylvania all his life. I don't know how old he was, but he said about 3:30, it's just the woods got eerily quiet. And you know, when you spend a lot of time outside, there's always sounds out in the woods, you know, the birds, the whatever, you know, Mother Nature's talking to us, right? But and about a foot of snow on the ground, okay, back then, November 28th, 1986. And he said that things just got really, really quiet, and And all of a sudden he started to hear what it sounded like, two hunters talking, but it was like Japanese gibberish, he said. He couldn't understand, Japanese backwards. He couldn't understand the language. And he heard this talking, and as he was hearing it, sorry, I just heard something really real. Frogs, maybe. You hear that? It's cool being out here, man. Hearing all the sounds, you don't know what it is. The imagination starts going wild. Woo! Right? So, anyhow, he hears this. It sounds like two hunters, but it's going up the slope to the top of the ridge away from him. And he said at the speed it was moving, like this incline, and it's a foot of snow on the ground, okay? And this noise got to the top of the ridge in no time at all. And he lays his scope on it to try and, not a good idea, right? Okay. If you're a seasoned hunter, right, you know what you're doing. Keep your finger off the trigger, keep your safety on, right? But he lays his scope out there because he has it could have been some type of animal, right? He has no idea what he's hearing. He's freaked out already because it's really, he's a seasoned woodsman, but he's never had this feeling while he was out. I read later in the story that, he's spent nighttime hikes out. He's been caught in the woods after dark. Might be some kind of big bird too. There are some ponds around here. So you can see we're going to cut up the STS here, as it's known, up into the Susquehannock Trail, heading back toward the ranger station at Denton Hill. If anyone knows what that is, throw it in the comments, all right? It's that way. I want to go that way and check it out, but I got to keep moving because if not, it's going to get dark and supper will be on the table. My wife's like, "Whoa, he fell down the cliff and died." Yeah, so anyhow. So this guy, he's following the sound up. He lays his rifle out and he's scoping the side of the hill, right? And left, right. And all of a sudden he catches some kind of movement, which you do in the woods. If you have any hunting experience, you see things moving out there. He comes back to it, and he said the trees in this area were about 6 to 8 inches around. So it wasn't real mature timber, but he said they were really close together, about 8 inches, a foot apart. So it was a young growth forest. I mean, and a lot of that, you can look here, might be about the same setting. Okay, now some of these trees are much smaller. They do a lot of logging here in the state of Pennsylvania. But he was probably in a similar setting to what we're in right now. And he caught something large, brown. He said all he really saw was an arm, like this big arm, but this figure, he couldn't see what it was because of the denseness of the forest. But it was a big, brown something, right? Cryptid on 2 feet, standing upright, bipedal. I don't know if cryptid's the right term there, but bipedal, moving through the trees, and he caught an arm, and he said he stopped, put his scope back on it, and all he couldn't see the animal or the whatever this was, this Bigfoot maybe, anymore, but all he could see is this 20 or 30 foot tall pine tree just swaying back and forth. It was, his scope, he's catching us in his scope, and this treetop's just swaying back and forth until he comes back down. Till he comes back down, it's gone. He can't find it anywhere. This was in 1986. About 7 miles from here as the crow flies. And yeah, I dropped something back here. I'm going to go back for it. You can see we got a cool trail system here. Always look behind you because you never know. You never know what's crossing the trail behind you. But anyhow, so this Bigfoot researcher followed up with this guy and talked to him, and she had been researching phenomenon out in the woods, unknown phenomenon out in the woods. I believe the note said over 27 years. And she believed that this guy, you can talk, when you're talking to people, you can tell whether they're telling the truth or not, She believed that this gentleman was telling the truth, and he said that, she's like, well, why didn't you go looking for any tracks? Because he only saw this, brief glance of this, saw this for a minute or two, goes up, focuses on this tree swaying, right? Comes back down, it's gone. Now again, very dense woods, okay? And she's like, why didn't you go, there's a foot of snow on the ground, why didn't you go try and find some tracks? And this guy says, no. Spent my entire life in the woods. I've never had a feeling, an eerie feeling like I had that day. And he said, as much as I wanted to go investigate, I was scared to death to do it. And this shook him up so much. And again, I don't know how old this gentleman was, but he stopped hunting. He quit going into the woods. So, and that's what you hear about these Bigfoot stories. I mean, my wife and I, on and off over the years, we've gone out in the woods and we look for stuff. And we've never gone out and done like a night investigation, really. We stopped in the vehicles. We're in the middle of the state forest, and you let a couple howls out there and you wait, and you have cameras, but we've never ventured out in the woods. It could be really dangerous. You know, what would you do if you found one? And most people, most of the reports, and I don't know if you believe this or not, but there are so many sightings, so much evidence. You know, we've never found a body or bones or DNA or any of that stuff, but there's so much superficial evidence. The stories and the myths go back through so many cultures in our country. You know, I'm on a trail system. I think it's 100 and some thousand acres here of state forest. And I spent my entire life here, 56 years I've been coming here to Potter County, and we moved here 4 years ago, okay? There's spots out here that mankind has never set foot on. Just heard something over to my left. And you know, there could be something there watching me as I'm walking and talking to you guys, and we'd never know it, right? You go right by it. So most of the stories, though, that we hear and read about and see on TV or on the internet, you know, two reactions. Either for people who have sightings or find real evidence of these creatures, either you never go back in the woods again, you're scared for your life, right? Got my orange on, it's hunting season. Or you make it a lifelong obsession to go out and find more evidence or find concrete proof that these beings, these creatures do exist. Some say they're supernatural. Don't rule that out. There's more coming on that soon. You wait and see. So anyhow, that's our first story. Potter County. November 28th, 1986 or 7, he wasn't sure. Today is November 19th, 2024, 38 years later, thereabouts. Took place 6 or 7 miles. So then the next story I found, same website, same research organization, okay, just about 20 years later, May of 2004. Now there's not as much to this one as the first one. And this took place right down over the hill whereabouts I started talking to you guys from. So I hiked in today. Usually I start my video up and I talk while I'm hiking. I hiked in today. I had this little tripod, but it wasn't working. I was going to sit on a rock back there and talk to you guys. But I couldn't get it to stand up properly. So let's do this, right? I like doing this better anyhow. It's not as clear. You get a little more blur. But, so that was 86. 2004, what, 18 years later? Our next story takes place right at the bottom of this mountain, Denton Hill State Park. You can come here, you can camp here. Denton Go is there now. New organizations trying to revive the state park. We're gonna have skiing eventually, downhill skiing. ATV, side-by-side rentals there. Who knows what type of activities. There's cabins you can rent, there's campsites you can rent, there's hiking. I think they're gonna have mountain biking. I'm excited for the future of Denton Go. So check that out, get online and see what's going there. But Route 6 goes right by it, okay? And in reading the account, truck driver traveling late at night, about 10:30 at night. This is in May. And spring storm, no rain, but there's lots of lightning. And from what I can gather, from what he described, he talked about 2 lanes going up. He had to be traveling west. Okay, up the hill, There's 2 lanes, and he said there was a car about 100 yards ahead of him. Now here's my split. I think if I would have went out this other trail here, and there's even an orange marker over there and on the tree, I should have saw that. If I would have went that way, it would have took me out to the ridge where I could have maybe shot down over, but I took this lower trail here. But anyhow, so truck drivers coming from Galton area, headed toward Coudersport, and lightning, no rain, lightning behind him. Okay, so he said you could really see well in front of you. There was a car about 100 yards out ahead of him. Plus he's got the lightning behind him, okay? And you could see really well, and there's 2 lanes going up the mountain, and we're at about 2,400 feet here above sea level. I think Denton Hill is one of the tallest peaks in Potter County. I don't know about Pennsylvania, but I think the sign out on Route 6 says 2,424 feet. It's 2024, right? I gotta see a Bigfoot today. It's gotta happen behind me, right? Maybe in the woods over here. It's really thick. He could be standing 50 feet in there and we'd never see him. But anyhow, this truck driver's traveling up the highway. He's in the right lane. And all of a sudden, the car in front of him swerves out into the left lane real abruptly, like it was trying to avoid something. And trust me, driving around here at nighttime can be super dangerous. I can attest to that because I do it a lot. But just 2 weeks ago, election night, we're taking our ballot bins back to the courthouse. I'm judge of elections here in Galton, Ward 2. We're taking our ballot bins back to, it's 9 o'clock at night. It's really dark, okay? We're going down, we climb Denton Hill, get over Potato City, we're heading down the other side. It's like, whoa, like this deer, this massive deer, and my wife's counting them. There were 3 dead already on the road. It's rut season, so it's hunt season. They're really moving around, right? So she had already counted 3 dead along the road, and we're seeing live deer everywhere. But I'm blasting along 55, 60, right? And whoa, like this deer was like, there was like 10 feet of median, side median, and then the woods, he's like right there. And man, if I'd have hit that thing, deer bologna for sure, right? Plus my car would have been crunched up pretty good. We were in the Subaru that night, we weren't even in the truck. But anyhow, so I can attest to, so if this car was traveling along at the 55, 60 mile an hour speed limit there, and this trucker says he saw something because he judged it off the height of the car ahead of him. Now this car is about 100 yards out, right? He's got lightning flashing in the background, illuminating things. And he said all he saw was something big and black, 7 to 8 foot tall. And this was right after the car. When he saw the car swerve to the left, he did the same thing. Because he thought there's got to be a deer or something along the road that's causing this guy to want to get over. And so the trucker does the same thing, just trying to give you a view of what we got here, what I'm walking out of. The sun's going down over there. But anyhow, trucker swerves to the left like the car did ahead of him. And again, when you're traveling that speed, boom, and it's gone. It's just gone that quick. But something large, black, and you can see, it's dark. How do you know what color it was, right, Jim? Well, the deer you can tell are brown, I mean, you can see some colors at night. So anyhow, got some mud here I'm looking to see. There's some small footprints here, but nothing. So anyhow, that's the second story. The guy didn't go back. He didn't, it was just that quick and it was gone. He looks in his rear view and there's nothing there. And that's how animals react when they're along the road like that. If you pass them that close, they're jumping up the hill into the woods and they're gone. You never see them again. But we did another story just a few weeks, probably. Okay, I heard something again over in this area. You can hear the highway. We're not far off the highway. I did a story a few weeks ago. So at the base of Denton Hill at the state park, you go right across, there's a parking area there, and there's another short trail system over behind the lumber museum there. There was a spotting. You'd have to go back to my channel here on YouTube. We're posting this on YouTube. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Rumble, I'm on YouTube, Jim Bull Talks. I forget what year it happened, but there was another cryptid or bipedal animal sighting over across the road. So I just thought it was cool. You know, we're only, you know, animals travel. Some are territorial, some travel. I would think if something that big does exist, you know, number one, we don't know what it feeds on. It's got to be a meat eater or a carnivore, right? We're humans, we eat meat. Everything down to the kitty cat eats meat, right? Deer, other animals are herbivores, they eat plant food, but you would think a creature that large, if they did exist, would definitely need to have some sustenance, some protein, fish, meat, and I would imagine they travel to try and find food. And if there's one, there's more, right? There can't be just one. So are they feeding clans, families? I don't know. But that's our story here along Route 6. So this area, this whole general area, like I said, the first story was six or 8 miles as the crow flies to our southwest. We had another story of the cryptid out here, and that actually was, I think, in the 1800s, and was reported in the Potter Leader Enterprise. It wasn't called that then, but same Tioga Publishing still owns that publication here. And yeah, check it out. Go back and watch that. And my camera died on me. There's 2 parts to it. I had a different camera I was using back then, and my camera died on me. And y'all didn't catch the ending if you didn't watch part 2, which is probably the best part. So we have activity over a long period of time here. But as I mentioned, you know, we have our trail systems, we have our dirt road systems that people travel all the time. And wildlife. You see them, you know, I saw a couple turkeys coming up Denton Hill here. Big turkeys. Turkeys are prevalent again here, but we don't know what's out in these woods. Bobcats are here. People argue there's mountain lions here. Why not, right? There's elks to our south. We have white-tailed deer, lots of black bear. No brown or grizzlies here, thank goodness. It makes a guy feel much safer coming out in the woods. Now, that looks like a little bit of a game trail right there. Something's traveling through here, right? Man, I could spend days out here. I'm not in that kind of hiking shape right now, but I would love to get there. One of our goals, my wife and I, we always said let's do the Appalachian Trail, but we would have to, man, friend of ours just did that. She's a monster. She's not a monster, but she's a beast. She did that trail system in like record time. From Maine, or from Georgia to Maine. Started in like January or February, which is unheard of, because she was starting a new teaching gig in August. And she killed it, man. She got done in like July. Way to go, G. She told me I could call her that, you know, because I can't say her first name right. But anyhow, get out in the woods, man. Do some hiking, look around, open your mind up. I had to come out here and come down from all this election crap. You know, people online and the press want to keep coming after us. We won. America spoke. We want something new. We want something different, right? So had to detox a little bit from that. I'm going to try and do that more. I'm a realtor here in the area, Jim Bull Realtor, Pine Creek Real Estate. Looking for a hunting cabin, a vacation home. Want to move here like we did, give me a hit up. I'm all over Facebook. I'm all over YouTube. On Rumble now. Yeah. We own a restaurant in Gailton there, Brown Bull. I sell carports and steel buildings and work with the Gailton Ministerium and talking about maybe getting a Boy Scouts thing going here. I just don't know how to sit still. So, but I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Smash that like button or follow button. I'm not one of these influencers, but I want to be, right? I want to be an influencer. I just want to share my adventures with you. So thanks for walking along. Good day, right? Good stories. They true? drop me some comments. What do you think? Do you have any stories of your own that we want to share on the page? You know, we can link up and talk. Either send me your story and we'll talk about it, or we can get on a Zoom call and take it live, or come on out here and we'll hike together and talk about it, right? That's even better yet. I do like being out here by myself, me and God. It lets you put life in perspective. Sun's trying to set over here. You can hardly see it, it's going down to the west there. Yeah, Susquehannock Trail System, North Central PA. So we're on 25 minutes here. I want to keep talking and walking and bringing you along, but I guess I will just maybe shut up for a minute or two and let you walk with me, and then I will turn it off and we'll try and do it again real soon. Thanks for watching. Later. Reading in the paper, I think it's 4 or 5 shelters they have in this trail system. Susquehannock Trail Club is here. They do a great job from what I understand. I mean, look at these trails. They're beautiful, right? Okay, so we have another intersection coming up here, and then we're going to let you guys go. Thanks for walking along. Jim Bull Talks. The White Line Trail. Duck Pond over there in Short Loop, and the district office parking lot. That's where we're headed this way later.